from the Bolt Bros after a Week 18 loss versus the Broncos 19-3. To be honest, my opinion, I don't think it was really that bad of a loss in my opinion. There's a lot of things that you could actually like about this game. Sure, it would have been nice to basically sweep the division and then basically also sweep the Broncos, obviously, too. But guess what? Onward to the playoffs, guys. So let's talk a little bit about the Broncos and just kind of give you a little bit of inkling and a little bit stats about the matchup for the wild card weekend game versus the Patriots. So let's go ahead and get into it, guys.
Bolt Bros,
let's go.
What's up, Pyramid, man? You watching the Bolt Bros podcast. Stay tuned.
Charter blue dreams, stadium lights gleam. Bolt Bros on the beat, lead stream. Chargers rocking speeds, Sonic Supreme. From the podcast to the field, we're a team. Charged up, Bolt Bros on the night. LA Thunder in electric delight. Bolts in the battle, sparking bright. Charged up, ride the lightning, feel the fright.
Here we go. But guys in the chat, man, want to hear your thoughts about this game and everything too. You know, it's funny about this game going into it. I was kind of just a little bit like, you know, hey, it's a preseason game. It's a good game to basically get an idea of some other players that we have had in the bench, you know, backups and everything, seeing how they go. So, you know, pretty much I just wanted to see what they could do on the field. And so interested to hear your thoughts on that, Andrew, and kind of going into this game.
Yeah, it was kind of shocking to see how bad Trey Lance was at times, right? I was a little unimpressed. Of course, I will say this. When we saw him at camp, he was pretty bad. He struggled. He sailed a lot of ball. By the way, DJ Ungalele looked a lot better than him at camp from what we noticed. So clearly there's something, you know, Trey's he's got to figure something out. Like there's something wrong. And he had an opportunity to do a really good job to show the league that he still belongs. I don't think he did that today. Guys in the chat, what do you think? Did he show the league that he belongs in the NFL right now? I would argue no, but it was really frustrating. Strangely enough, though, I do think the offensive line actually played a little bit better. I mean, there's a few plays that I can think of. In fact, we should probably pull up the PFF scores for.
That's what I'm waiting on that right now too. Actually, I'm waiting for it to pull up. So
yeah, because that'll be interesting soon. Because I feel like in a weird way, you know, the offensive line actually played better. I'm like, man, we should just start the freaking backups because holy smokes, man. Like it was just so crazy. I just couldn't understand how bad they were. So yeah, and Lance was just not good today. It was just really bad. Jim says Andre James way better than Bozeman. Yeah, you know, he had a couple bad plays for sure, but yeah, I don't understand this team's fascination with Bozeman, but for whatever reason, he seems like he's our guy. So,
you know, there was a couple plays that, yes, it did not look bad. I mean, not look good, I should say, with Andre James, but also at the same side, there was a big thing about the offensive line there where there was a lot of like people being in the misalignments, you know, being downfield, getting penalties and everything too. That's what happens with an offensive line that has not really played together for a very long period of time. They don't understand each other and the tendencies. They don't understand kind of where they need to be. You know, there's a lot of, you know, bumps that you're going to have to go through too.
Yeah.
So ultimately, that offensive line didn't look bad to me. Like, I mean, we only gave up 1 sack in the first half. And that's actually like a great stat to see and a very, you know, I would love to be able to see that more often, to be honest, with this offensive line. So, I mean, ultimately, I didn't really look too much at this game, but I definitely feel like we scared the Broncos in this one. And that's the thing about it is like, I mean, my buddy that's a Broncos fan, I mean, instantly he texted me kind of late in the game and he was like, yeah, man, this offense ain't scaring nobody. This Broncos offense is bad. And, you know, look, you might have a very good defense, right? But if you don't have an offense that can put up points, you're going to be in a world of hurt during the playoffs, guys. Like you're not going to win a game by 6-3 or something like that being the score. I mean, not saying it's not possible. I'm sure in the history of the NFL, it's possible, but ultimately you got to score points, score touchdowns. And that offense is not scaring anybody by any means. And we did this with our backups, by the way.
Backups. Yeah. So, H4 said no TDs for the Denver offense. I agree. Look, they look bad. They look bad. And bottom line, they look bad. They kick field goals the entire time. You know, We will never know this, but I would say if our actual starters were out there, we probably could have won this game. I mean, we at least would have made it close, But to your point and to everyone's point and Harbaugh's point, why play the starters this week? The one injury that I was a little nervous about was Dante Jackson. I guess it's his ankle. I'm a little nervous about that because we need him for the playoff run. So that was a little bit of a concern. But we'll see it. Well, see how it goes, man. I mean, I have one buddy who's a Broncos fan. He's just like, man, we look bad. We just don't look good. We don't look good. I'm like, dude, you guys, there is an element of luck, right? Their defense is keeping them in the games. Their offense has not looked great. Bo Nix did a lot better than I think. He did a lot with his legs. It's going to be interesting to see. I'm very curious to see how it plays out. But, I think Sean Payton was nervous. I think everyone who's a Broncos fan is like, hey, we won a game. But, a fully loaded Chargers team, we're going to look a lot different than that come playoffs. So,
yep. Even just some comments to Sean Payton basically said after the game, I certainly wasn't as sharp as I wanted to be. Payton did allow the offensive play calling was influenced by Chargers offense. Don't excuse the lack of execution. Basically, ultimately, he felt like he did not play a very good game. He did not call a very good game. I mean, ultimately, Sean Payton is very, very egotistical about his own play calling. I don't would have ever really said, hey, Chargers defense look good with the backups because he doesn't want his offense to look bad against those guys. And to be honest, I think we made them look bad.
Yeah, they look bad. They look really bad.
I think we ultimately made them kind of be frauds. Like I'm going to say that. I really think the Broncos are frauds. Like even though they're going to have 1 week ahead of, one extra, bye weeks, Chargers starters essentially got bye weeks this week. I mean, there was kind of a mix of a couple starters through this game, but ultimately, I think the Broncos are complete frauds. Like, I do not think they're going to be a good team at all in the playoffs. I think, to be honest, we beat the Patriots. We go into Denver. I have a great feeling about that game. Yeah. I have an absolutely great feeling about that game, and I would love it. If you guys are the 1 seed, cool, man. Be the 1 seed. Denver ain't that far away from LA. It's the short little hop, skip, and the jump. No big deal. We'll go out there, beat you guys, come back to LA, and then we'll play whoever we're playing for the AFC Championship. I feel really good about that, guys. Very good about it.
Yeah, the other guy is KLS. Looked like he had a hamstring. So I can't remember. There was another player that I was a little nervous about. But yeah, I mean, look, it is what it is, guys. It's basically what we expected. I just wish I'd seen Trey Lance do a little bit more. I was a little shocked at how bad he looked. The funny thing I will say, just in general about the offense, I like the short passes. I noticed they were doing that a lot for Trey Lance. Yep. If you noticed, there was a couple. What was the one play? It was basically a screen to the left to Keenan Allen, and then there was a go route to the right. Yeah, and he threw the go route, but didn't throw the screen. The screen was wide open, and I was like, "Huh." And so I think it was like an option route. He can do the go, or he can do the screen. So he chose with the go route, and then he overthrew it by like 5 yards, which he did the entire time. Yeah. And I was like, "Holy smokes!" So it just goes to show you, like, when Justin Herbert's healthy, he is a game changer. Agreed. That defense is always going to keep us in the game, and Justin Herbert he just can make those plays happen, and he doesn't miss those throws like that, right? So anyways, pretty exciting.
One thing I will say too, Jim Harbaugh did talk about Dante Jackson in the post-game show or post-game interview. He was cleared to go back in today's game, but they held him out. He was. Okay, good. Did comment on Jackson's status moving forward, but generally, if you're cleared, you're good to go. And you're able to go out there too. I will also throw out for the Broncos too. They lost their center too within this game too. He did have an injury, and also Bowles being their left tackle too. So they got banged up.
They both came back.
They both did. Okay.
Yeah,
but
they both.
They ultimately did, but I'm just saying, like, that's something that you got to think about. It could be something that's a lingering issue for them too.
Yeah.
I mean, they did give up quite a bit of sacks too in this game. Still, even with that offensive line, with our backups too, by the way.
Yep.
So a lot to basically like about this game.
It is a bit comical, man, and I get a little frustrated. Yeah, I agree, guys. Anyways, but you're right, James. It's we did not look great, but they looked even worse. If that was their number ones versus our number 3s and 4s, it is what it is, right? So yeah. Anyhow, not a good situation.
Yes, sir. Yep, did not look good for them, but it seems like a lot of Broncos fans when I'm going on the interwebs about it too. There's a lot of people that are very nervous about this team, and they're not feeling very confident about this team. By the way, the opening over and unders right now for the wild card weekend is already out. Patriots are currently negative 3.5 over the Chargers at this point. Obviously, a lot of home field advantage type things there too. Obviously going West Coast to East Coast type thing. My hopes is that this game does not get scheduled early on. Obviously every wild card game is not going to be like 11 in the morning or whatever, 10 morning or anything like that. But I hope it's not going to be like a Saturday first game slot type situation. Yeah. I would like it to be a little bit later in the evening for this game. So we'll see where it ends up going with this one. And I'm keeping an eye out to see if I could find the TV schedule for all the playoff games this upcoming week.
Got it. Okay. Cool. So, all right, guys, and let's look at the actual stats here. We got Trey Lance, 136 yards, 1 interception, right? The interception was kind of a joke. KLS.
Yeah.
Same thing. Zorani Gadsden last week, ball went up in the air and couldn't keep it. And yeah, pretty frustrating. But Trey Lance did not look great. 4 sacks. We got 4 sacks as well, too. And Bo Nix didn't look good either. Look at that. But he did run for 49 yards, which was pretty much his big thing. But look, he just, again, if our starters were out there, I think it would be a different story, right? But, it is what it is. Trey Lance did rush quite a bit, though. Actually, pretty interesting. He did, 69 yards, which is great. So, and I kind of felt like he had to do this to win.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Jarrett Patterson, he had a couple good runs, but that was about it. Again, I kind of was surprised to even see Kamani Badal get out there at all.
Yeah. And I think he probably just got his legs kind of going, get his rhythm going here too. Yeah. Interesting thing enough, look at Bo Nix's stats. Yeah. 14 to 23, 141 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 picks, 4 sacks. We got 4 sacks on arguably one of the best offensive lines in the league. They've only allowed 19 sacks up to that game.
Yeah.
And we got 4 sacks with our backups, guys. So that's a huge, huge positive for us too. I mean, I think we did great. I think honestly, we looked really good for basically having essentially a preseason game. Our defense looked great. And I think next week we're going to be ripping and roaring with our starters. I guarantee that.
Yeah. I think it'll be exciting, right? I think bottom line, I think that this team has all the talent, right? We just got to put it on paper. I like that. Looking back on this now, I'm thinking, okay, I'm happy that we did sit our starters, right? Herbert had some time on his own to heal his hand up and let some of these other folks just get a little bit more healthy and be ready for this game. I think that's a big thing. I just hope we don't come out flat. That's where I get a little nervous, right? So, that's my only caveat to that. But Keenan Allen, what did he get? 750 grand, something like that.
He got $1 million.
Wow, it's amazing.
Yeah. So shout out to Jim Harbaugh too. Him going out there and getting that one catch where he basically said, "Hey, look, I'm going to throw in the red flag, kind of get it to that." I think that was a first down kind of thing too. But I think it was also securitizing that catch also for Keenan Allen to basically get that 6 catch to basically get his $1 million. I mean, I think that was a really cool thing for him to do, just to kind of secure that for him, make sure that he got his bonus and everything too. You got to love coaches that want their guys to get paid. If it's in the reach to get some extra money, let's get them that money kind of thing. So I think it was great to see that.
Yeah, I agree. Well, and I think it incentivizes him to come back next year too. I mean, again, we have $111 million to spend next year, so we'll see what happens. Trey Harris, you said it, James, before this stream started. That reception he had at the back of the end zone that was not a touchdown was insane. Yeah. I mean, that was just beyond insane, guys. How would you rate that? I mean, that just goes to show you what that kid's got. He's got so much juice. So, man, I just couldn't even believe it.
It was pretty incredible to see that. Like, I mean, his whole sliding of his toes for 3 yards, it seemed like. Yeah. He looked like Gumby on his toes, basically.
Crazy.
Pretty insane to get that catch. It would have been awesome if he actually secured the catch and everything too. But what an effort play. And it was amazing to see that play for sure. So,
and look, they just barely beat us in yardage right here. 141. We're at 136,
Crazy.
And I don't know. It's weird. It's weird how bad Denver has looked, and look, they got lucky, right? The Chargers, they're just going to roll over, take the loss. They're not going to worry about it. Move on to the next one, right? It is what it is. Again, Jared Patterson, Ronnie Gatz looked okay too as well at times. And I'm worried about KLS. Hopefully he'll be okay. Trey lost. He lost that fumble. That was a bit of a
Necklace just got rocked. Just let him just run through, and then he got rocked from his blind side, basically.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. But look at Tony Jefferson, looked great. Marlo Wax and Deshaun Phillips, man, look great.
That Marlo Wax tackle for a loss,
it was huge.
Insane.
Yeah.
Was that a 3rd and 1 or something like that? And he just
I think it's 4th and 1.
4th and 1.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they went
drive.
I think it was 4th and 1. If I'm in the chat, let us know. I'm pretty sure it was 4th and 1 or 4th and 2.
It was a 3rd and 1. Yeah, it was the 8th drive of the Broncos. So yeah, but he just absolutely lit him up, and that was awesome to see. That Marlo Wax tackle for a loss reminded me of like a young Denzel Perryman, just heat-seeking missile, just Swiss Army knife right to where you need to go, and just absolutely secure the tackle. It was awesome to see.
Yeah, and actually, you look at this too. There's actually quite a few starters on the defensive side of the ball. Now that I look at this, because Tito Delshon, I guess, is the only one. So they did set Henley, and obviously we know that Denzel Perriman's out. So, but yeah, Dafioe was out. Of course, we didn't have also Thule or Khalil Mack out there as well.
Yep.
But those are significant players as well too. So pretty interesting. But yeah, look, we got 2 good defenses, right? It is what it is. Like, they're very good defenses, and it's really keeping the Chargers in every game. And look, we kept them under 20 points.
Yep.
Under 20 points. So, if our starters were there, I think we scored 20 points. I think the first 1 to 20 wins, right? So,
and I don't even think they would have scored 19 on us if we had our starters too.
No, for sure. That's the point. Yep, good point.
That's the other side of it. That I think that we would have basically been able to win this game, but this game wasn't not a needed win by any means for this team. So I think it's totally fine the way it is. But our average on our defense is 20.1 points that we're giving up on defense. Yep. So we actually got better. We might be under the 20-point threshold of giving up 20 points a game with this defense now. So
look at Jesse Minter for, doing such a great job of coaching that when, man, of course, again, it wasn't a ton of backups that were out, but but you get what I'm saying, right? He got more aggressive. He did blitz a lot more at the beginning of the game too, which I thought was great. I do hope in the playoffs we are a little more aggressive at the beginning. And start just really just putting on the pressure faster. So,
and I agree. And we talked about that a little bit too. When we felt like with Bo Nix specifically, he looked squirmy and he made bad decisions to throw the ball to when he had pressure in his face. Which I'm saying that any quarterback gets pressure in their face, they're going to make bad decisions and just don't look like a good quarterback by any means. But we did a good job when we did pressure him. Yeah, he definitely had bad throws and he just looked really, really out of sorts. I do feel like we played a little bit base for a good portion of this game too. Didn't really do too much. Didn't really try to go a whole heck of a lot and get too fancy or anything like that. So I think ultimately we got to start fast and just keep our foot on the gas the entire time in the playoffs, dude.
It's interesting. We had the same amount of first downs, which I'm kind of surprised.
Weird.
Third down efficiency, not amazing either. Fourth down efficiency, we were doing a lot of that as well. And we had more total plays. So, and we had less total yards. It's just an ugly defensive game on both sides, right? But you'd have to give tip the cap at least to the Chargers because we're playing against their number ones, right? So, but again, look at this. Yards per passing. Man, Trey Lance it's weird how he can just miss some of those easy throws, right? And those go balls, he missed every one. He wasn't even close on any of those. And I was like, man, just crazy. So, it was bad. And lost a lot of yards. He didn't do a very good job with that as well, too. So it's pretty interesting. Rushing was exactly the same.
Crazy, right? That didn't even seem that way. But at the same side, like this was like a defensive game all around. It was just a tightly contested defensive game. And we didn't make it easy for the Broncos by any means.
Yeah, look at this.
And that's great.
Over 3 in the red zone with their ones, guys. And so, there's a lot of good things we can talk, about as well, too. Again, look, Bobby Hart had some penalties and, there was a bunch of false starts and a couple of illegal formations. Pretty clean game overall, though. The 2 turnovers really hurt us as well too, but of course it didn't really matter. We only scored 3 points,
Sure.
right? I mean, 3 points, who cares?
Doesn't
So
matter. Yeah.
interesting situation. I mean, it was interesting. Oh, here we go. Yeah, Bo Nix is still 0-3 against Herbie. That's a good point. He's still 0-3.
Well, and I'll say one thing
right. Yeah.
about the penalties for the Chargers. I want to probably say all 5 of those had to have been on the O-line or the offensive side of things too. So
Yeah.
I want to say and I'm trying to think if there was one on the defensive side of things. I can't think of one that comes to mind or anything, but ultimately, yeah, I mean, what that showed for those penalties was, hey, look, this is a bunch of guys that haven't had a lot of in-game experience. They're going to make mistakes. They don't understand each other very well. When you have a commonality of an offense and an offensive line, it's going to run like a well-oiled machine. And I think ultimately, I want to say that all those penalties were on the offensive side of things. So
it was, it was, which is crazy. And there was no illegal touching or anything like that as well too, which I thought was interesting. So yeah, I thought that was cool. But look, overall, I wanted to see more from the offense. I wanted to see Trey Lance elevate his game a little bit, right? He just did nothing, and that's kind of hard to see. And Bobby Hart was the most penalized player. That was my biggest thing against him as well too. So yeah, pretty interesting. So we should talk about our sponsor. So let me just pull that up real quick, and I'll have that conversation about our sponsor, man. So guys, have you ever heard of the Sleeper app? Here's a little secret. It's more than just a platform for season-long fantasy leagues. Oh wait, fantasy's done, but you can still gamble, folks. Actually, not gamble, predict. It's predict. This year, millions of users enjoy playing fantasy sports on Sleeper, but the app is so much more. Live stats, real-time updates, visualization, and all stats. Newsfeed, get lightning fast updates on your favorite players and teams. Again, new basketball seasons in full swing. Real-time chat, engage with other players and individual plays and players for performances during the NFL and NBA season. Download the number one sports app today and experience it for yourself. It is awesome, folks. And again, get a $100 deposit, match up to $100. Use code Bolt Bros. So if you have an opportunity, sign up. It's a lot of fun. Again, predicting app. You cannot say gambling. It's predicting. So pretty exciting.
Well, on top of that too, it also works even outside of NFL football. So there's a lot of different categories of sports that you could work with too. So
Yep.
Definitely take a look at it when you can, guys. We appreciate it. And also shout out to Hog Media too for the support too all season too. So we appreciate
So it's funny. Super Dave said that better we lost. We match up best with the Patriots.
Agreed.
It's interesting. I think we do, but it's one of those things where I think we said that about the Jags and we lost the Jags, right?
Yeah, the Texans.
And the Texans.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying that it's I hate saying that because boy, you feel like you're going to eat your words later on. But anyways, I don't know. Kind of interesting conversation.
Third time's a charm, right? That's what they say, right? So maybe this is the third time where we could actually put it all together on the field and close out a game in the playoffs.
I hope
too. So, and I really think that we got a good shot at it too. I mean, we'll talk a little bit more about that a little bit later on in this show, probably kind of finalize this episode about kind of a small preview about that game. But I would also say one thing too. I'm just kind of looking at some of the post-game interviews and everything too. Eric Smith tweeted out that he was interviewing Khalil Mack on the way that the reserve Chargers defense played. He said, it's going to have a lasting effect on us going to the next game, which is great. Not allowing the Denver offense to allow with their starters to score a touchdown on us. So I think it's kind of like, hey, you guys did it. Now we're the starters. We're the guys getting the big bucks. We need to go do that to the next team kind of thing.
Yep.
And you got to think, the New England Patriots have a very high-powered offense. They could score points.
Yes.
There's some areas that I could say that, hey, look, this is where we win kind of thing. And there's a lot of things that we could dig into that too. But I think just to keep on the subject, probably should just stay with the Broncos, and we'll talk a little bit more about the Patriots here pretty shortly. So
yeah, pretty much. And look, the good news is I think it's also kind of a nice thing to sit some of those folks like Derwin James, Khalil Mack, and some of these other guys. I mean, we don't even know if Khalil Mack's coming back next year. Keenan Allen coming back next year. Who knows? So it's going to give them an opportunity to say, okay, cool. All right, guys, this one matters. Let's make it happen. Get their body right one more time, and then just go out there and make it happen. So it's exciting. I wasn't a huge fan of the idea of it, but now that I've thought more about it, I'm like, all right, kind of makes sense. Let's get these guys ready to go. And again, we need 3 wins, and then we get to the Super Bowl, and that's the game that matters. but every game up to this game matters, right? So hopefully
Matters.
let's go on a 4-game winning streak and make it happen. Guys, any team in the AFC West AFC can win. I feel like it is up in the air. All those teams look great. So, if somebody starts saying, oh yeah, I think the Pats are going to take it, or I think the Broncos got it, I think any team is beatable in the AFC West, including the Chargers. So
agree. Well, and just to kind of put a little bit more fuel to the fire on that too, and that idea of we need to go 4-0 from this point.
Mhm.
After the bye week, we lost to the Jags, right? We basically had a week off. What do? We went 4-0 up till basically that Texans game. So we went 4-1. Well, actually, I say now 4-2 to end the season. But that's a really good score to start with. And that's a really good point to say, hey, look, we went and actually played, the Cowboys. We ended up playing the Chiefs, even though they were down or whatnot. We still ended up beating them. We still ended up playing some pretty good teams there too, and found a way to go 4-0. So I'm okay with that. And I think there's a good chance that the Chargers could do that. Beating the Eagles at home was phenomenal. Beating the Chiefs on the road, obviously we just throttled the Raiders at that point too, and the Cowboys away. Hey, any squad, any place, guys. That was the saying for a long period of time with this team, man. And I think this team can do some big things. So we'll see, man. Third time's a charm. That's my thoughts. And I think we got some good things going with this team for sure. And I do like the path of where the Chargers are seated at right now too. I think it's a good path for this team to potentially get up to the AFC championship game.
Yeah, exactly. But it's nice to let some of the starters sit, have a little time to themselves, and hopefully come out with some energy, some oomph, some strumph, and make it happen.
Yep. Denzel Perryman has been out for 2 weeks on top of this too. So he's he's going to be ready to go too. So there's going to be a lot of great additions to this team, I think, too. So
and again, Broncos did not score a TD today.
Yep. Love
it. That's big. I mean, it's in their head. It's going to be in their head for sure. So we'll see what happens.
100%. Let me throw up some of the slides here real quick too. This is just kind of something just to kind of look at. And I always like looking at the halftime just because thinking, hey man, this is a pretty tightly contested game all around. Passing first downs, 3 for Chargers, 2 for the Broncos, 3 rushing first downs for the Chargers, 6 for the Broncos. I mean, ultimately, thinking about the amount of yards, essentially was about almost 2 times this for us in the ending for both teams. It was a very tightly contested game all around. And even to say 68 yards to 33, we only gave Bo Nix 33 yards in the first half. That's pretty insane, man. So, I mean, ultimately there was one good drive that Trey Lance ended up having kind of to end the half. He had a pretty good drive all around there to basically ultimately get to 11 and 20 for completions wise. But Bo Nix was only 6 for 10. Didn't really have a whole heck of a lot going on us either too. Playing a lot of small dink and dunk type things too. I mean, hey, we did a good job, man. And this is backups, by the way. Still, we keep repeating that, but this is backups here. Backups only gave up 1 sack too in the first half, and they gave up 1 sack in the first half too. And ultimately, we still got 4 sacks, and we gave up 4 sacks. That's not a bad game for backups by any means. It could have been worse.
Could have been a lot worse. So yeah. I mean, did the PFF score show up yet?
Let me check to see if that pops up yet, because I know I've been kind of refreshing it to try to see if I could find those stats. So
yeah, and guys, what did you overall feel about this performance? Right? Leave a comment. I know we're kind of going through a few of these comments here, but I felt like we hung in there with the Broncos for sure. And remember, it's their starters on both sides of the ball. They played everybody. So and Peaky Bolts is great. Yes, remember we are 0-0 in the playoffs.
Yep.
There is something to be said about going into the playoffs healthy.
Yep.
The Chargers needed to do that, though. We really kind of did, especially with Herbert's hand. You got to remember that's a liability. He's running. If he's running with the ball, he can't protect it with his other hand.
Yeah.
And that's when he gets slapped, and then it's a fumble, and that could change the dynamic of the game really quick. And we all know Herbert doesn't need all the reps anymore. He's going to be completely fine. And I agree. I think with the Chargers win that game with starters, 100%. I really do. Or at least they make it a lot closer, So, but there was no reason for that at this point.
I have the PFF scores for what the metrics were for the offensive line, pressures, all that kind of stuff too, and sack rates and all that stuff too. So if you want to, I could jump through that real quick.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
So Andre James gave up 1 pressure this game. and one hurry up.
Pressure?
One pressure and one hurry up. That was it.
That's crazy.
And his pressure percentage was 1.9%. That is lower than Bozeman's ever had all season.
Wow. Okay. That's crazy, guys. Because I remember that one play. It was who's our defensive lineman? He pushed him right into the lap of oh my gosh, why am I drawing a blank on his name all of a sudden?
Was it Benito?
No, it wasn't Benito. It's the defensive lineman. I'll pull it up. Just go ahead and keep going.
But I mean, the big part of that is what I wanted to see from these backups.
Zach Allen.
Zach Allen. That's right.
Yep.
He's a stud. I loved him when he was at the Cardinals with JJ Watt over there too. I thought he was a great player there. Reminds me a lot of JJ Watt in some certain ways. But anyways, the one thing I wanted to see with these backups is you're going up against a very, very good defensive line. They add a lot of pressure all around. And when you got Andre James that ended up getting one pressure, one hurry up, and a 1.9% pressure rate,
that's amazing.
That's pretty dang good. Like, it's pretty dang good. That is a good game for you. So, but
what was his PFF score though? Does he have a score?
I don't have the score yet on that. Okay. I just have actually the metrics of what the players have done. So if I go down further down the O-line, Bobby Hart, one pressure, one hurry up, 1.9% pressure rate.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Crazy. All right. Now, Branson Taylor was a guy that I really wanted to look at because it was another what's going to 6th-round pick guy. I wanted to see him on the field, seeing what he kind of looks out there. This guy's a monster. And if you guys have him out there, 6'6" dude, 320-pound type dude as a guard, that's amazing to see. He's a rookie.
He's a rookie.
He's a rookie, guys. All right. So, but he gave up 5 pressures, 5 hurry ups, and did have a pressure rate of 9.4%. So, in contrast, last week, pressure rates for even some of our starters were like 18, 19%. That's quite a bit less. It's basically a good half difference of what the starters were doing last week.
I said at the beginning, I felt like this offensive line played better than our starters, which is embarrassing.
Crazy.
Embarrassing. Yes.
And Trevor Penning, his bread and butter is a run game, run blocker. That's his whole thing. Like he does that great, and he plays through the whistle or to the whistle. I want to say, I feel like he's doing better to the whistle, not through the whistle with the Chargers. Gave up 5 pressures, 4 hurry ups, and 1 sack, and his pressure rate was at 9.4%.
Wow.
So if we kind of keep looking at like what the starters did last week versus a very good defensive line with the Texans to the backups, things are looking better. Now, even to go to Austin Decklis, he had the bad game on this offensive line. He had 6 pressures, 2 sacks, 2 hits, 2 quarterback hurry ups, and had 11.3% pressure percentage that he gave up. So
interesting.
So Decklis was the one that did not play that good. But as a whole for this offensive line against one of the better and more blitz happy type defenses, this offensive line looked pretty dang good. And I will say Trey Lance did kind of sit a little bit more in the pocket. I think he felt a little bit more comfortable. I think he doesn't have not nearly as good as pocket presence and awareness as Justin Herbert, but that line looked pretty good against a very good defensive line. I
agree. No, it was interesting. I was like, man, he's got a pretty nice little pocket there. And I'm like, oh, he's not throwing the ball though. And he's just gonna, and I just kept thinking, boy, it'd be really nice if Justin Herbert had a pocket like that. And
I agree.
And he just never does. And it's just shocking. It's just shocking. So I don't know. Well, it'll be interesting to see how they have the offensive line. I'm assuming they're going to go with the same starters they've had all year, but maybe who knows? Yeah. The line has been a problem all season. We beat that to a dead horse at this point. So, but and this is an interesting point. Beef Talboy, Branson Taylor's a tackle in college, first start at guard.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So. Yeah, and I think the thing with it, Jim Harbaugh tends to have a lot of these tackles that were playing tackles at some point, put him into guards. Even Trevor Penning was also a tackle too, and he's been pushed to guard too. So Bobby Hart's been basically just always as a tackle type player too for us. Zion Johnson's essentially guard and played a little bit of center. But I think that he wants to have big uglies in the middle. And I think that's the thing, that the idea, what if you end up going with Branson Taylor and also Trevor Penning as the interior O-line, and then potentially get a different center too. Maybe that makes a difference. I mean, once again, Andre James did not play bad at all by center. Like that was probably one of the best metrics that we had for a center this season.
And again, what's the fascination with Bradley Bozeman? it's just, I don't know. I don't understand. But whatever reason, Greg Roman seems to like him. So, but those stats are pretty damning, quite frankly.
Agreed.
That would put us in a pretty high, I mean, at least mid tier offensive line, which we've been horrible up to this point. So it's like, that is a problem. There's something going on with that. So yeah,
I agree. Just to even throw out the metrics too, total pressures allowed 33 versus the Denver Broncos allowed 18, but we did have 4 sacks on 18 pressures essentially too. So, which is pretty good for us. And we only allowed 3 hits. They've allowed 2 hits on the quarterback too. So, I mean, that's a whole heck of a lot of pressures. But also I think he did hold the ball a little bit longer, but there was also a fair amount of short passes that he did too, to kind of alleviate a little bit of that too. So, I mean, ultimately, I mean, we could also say that the short pass game maybe made the offensive line look better too, but at the same side, I don't mind that short passing type situation. We just need better execution with that short passing idea, which I'll show you a little bit of metrics on kind of his passing charts too from Next Gen Stats. But
yeah, that's a good point. That's actually a really good point. I think that's one of the arguments I have said about Justin Herbert this year is he's holding on to the ball a lot more. And he's, I think, trying to throw the ball downfield more, but that also means he's holding on the ball for like 3 seconds, which, look, Baker Mayfield, these other guys, they throw the ball quick. It gets out fast. And so, some of that's on Herbert, in my opinion. And again, I hate saying that, but some of it is on Herbert. So, in this game, they said, hey, Trey, you need to get the ball out quick. But strangely enough, they held up pretty well, and he could run around a little bit. So yeah, that was kind of interesting.
Per PFF, it looks like the average time to throw for Trey Lance was 2.61 seconds, and then Bo Nix had 2.96 seconds to throw. So
really?
Not too bad. So he actually, that's probably 2.61 seconds is actually probably one of our best metrics that we've had in average time to throw this season. At least getting it out quickly, I should say. So ultimately, it's not bad. I mean, Trey Lance get the ball out of his hands kind of quickly, but at the same side, it was a lot of short passes, and his long passes were nowhere near to even be completed by any means. Didn't even give a guy a chance to essentially catch the ball. It's crazy to me.
He just overthrew him like crazy. Yeah, I agree.
It's nuts. But I mean, I know we've been talking a little bit about our guy Trey Lance here, but ultimately, yes. I mean, in the chat, guys. I mean, what's your thoughts about Trey Lance? I know we've talked already a little bit about it in a nauseum level too, but what are your thoughts about Trey Lance? Did he make money? Did it really be a team that decides to take a flyer on him next year? Like to say, hey, look, the Jets, what if he goes to the Chiefs? What if he goes to the Raiders? What if he goes to, all these maybe potential quarterback needy type teams? Would he end up going to these areas? Like, I know, obviously, I think the Raiders are eventually going to go get Fernando Mendoza. They're probably going to draft him, possibly ruin his career. I don't know, just throwing it out there. Yeah. So we'll see where it goes there. But I mean, did Trey Lance have some way or another that he might be able to get to a team to potentially be a starter somewhere else? I mean, this is a 6th start in the NFL too, guys. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's a good point. Trey Lance says Trey had a better center in one game than Herbert had all season.
Agreed. Crazy.
I mean, there's so many plays I could show you that are like, what in the hell, and it's just do they want Justin Herbert to get beat up like a punching bag? Like it's crazy. So, I mean, it's just crazy. So we'll see how it goes. Hot Towel Server says he's staying in LA. You talking about Trey Lance or you talking about, you could, I mean, look, I do think Harbaugh likes a quarterback like Trey Lance, but he didn't really prove to anybody, at least myself. And I don't know about anybody else that he actually deserves to have that spot as a backup, but, the argument, though, a lot of people keep saying is, well, he just needs more reps. He still missed a lot of those passes pretty bad, right? He's pretty off. So,
well, and then you even go out there and say we have DJ Uiagalelei, who was actually activated for this game too. And if you know any history about DJ, he was a guy that was very highly touted into college football. Like he was one of the top quarterbacks in the nation. And we talked about it earlier in the pod. We felt like he looked better than Trey Lance in a lot of ways. Like he looked a lot more concise with his throws. He had better accuracy, better decision making. Who knows? Who knows where it's going to go? Would they go with a youthful guy? I mean, Justin Herbert is an absolute Iron Man. We know that. But do you feel comfortable that they have a guy like DJ Uiagalelei as a backup and basically let Trey Lance walk? We'll see. We'll see. We'll see what happens there.
Yeah, DJU looked pretty good. I was pretty impressed with him. So, we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, it's a really interesting conversation. I do feel like here we go. Timmy the Tyrant. Trey Lancelot is awesome. Yeah. Well, that's pretty funny. Yeah, but again, it's going to be interesting to see. I kind of thought this as well too. I thought they might have put DJ in the second half, or maybe let him have the fourth quarter or something. But then it was like, well, does it really matter? They're not going to play anyways, so who cares? But in DJ DJU, he looked good. He looked better than Trey Lance at camp. Remember, James?
Yep.
He looked better. He threw the ball better. He had better deep pass touch and all the above. So, we'll see how it goes.
One thing too, even elevating him to meaning DJ Uiagalelei, bringing him in, he also gets paid a full paycheck too. So he gets paid more money to be elevated. He doesn't have practice squad money. He has NFL 53 and squad money being paid out, which is good. I think it's ultimately could be also like shout out to Jim Harbaugh, Joe Ortiz, making moves like that to say, hey man, you've been putting in work. We're gonna bonus you, basically. Kind of the same idea that they did with Keenan Allen. Make sure he gets his bonus. Find a way. He had 13 targets this game. Make sure he gets his bonus. Get our guys paid, man. And I think that's a really cool thing that they did too for this game. So love to see it. Brenton Taylor's been elevated twice. He actually had game action and did pretty well, to be honest, too. So we'll see what happens here, guys. But just to kind of move forward a little bit with the slides, I did put up Trey Lance's passing chart. I mean, ultimately, he really only just got under 10-yard type passes. This is his longest pass that he had here, give or take almost 14 yards. But basically, all these downfield shots, man. I mean,
all bad.
That's quite a bit. And they were all just not catchable passes, which was really, really bad to see. Not a lot behind the line of scrimmage, kind of everything a little bit in front of him too. So, I mean, ultimately, hey, not pretty by any means. And if we do want to go over his stats for the preseason, I could just jump over that. So we could just say, hey, maybe he does look better in the preseason versus an in-game type of situation. He was 32 of 57, 56.1% for 334 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions over multiple games, which is 4 games that he played. Obviously, it's kind of only a couple different drives that he ended up playing through most of those games, but preseason didn't play bad. It's just in game did not really look that good at all. So, I mean, this is his 6th start in his career. Maybe it's just a time thing with him more than anything. Hopefully he could find a way to get some more time on field, but I don't know what team will feel very confident about giving him like a starter position right now.
Well, I mean, like people said, we could sign him again. He'd be cheap.
Yep.
The interesting thing about signing him for another year contract is that if we have him for another year, you can cut him if you don't like him. Like maybe we draft another, undrafted free agent quarterback, does better, and we have DJU as our backup, or this other person that we get, in the 6th or 7th round, whatever we decide to do, or maybe we sign another, backup. I mean, who knows, right? So, you can sign him and then cut him loose, and it doesn't really hurt us a whole lot at that point, right? Unless we sign him with some guaranteed money, but it's interesting. This is interesting too. Like I said, it was a 25th or something start, including college.
Crazy.
And I think that's part of. He's a great example of the problem coming out a little too early, right?
Yep.
Like a good example. Moore from Oregon, right? I think Moore from Oregon, Dante Moore looks the part. He looks really good. I think Trey Lance looked okay in some games in North Dakota State, and he just got elevated. Somehow people just got enamored with him, and people just said, let's go. He's our guy. He's our guy. He's our guy. We can make him better, because I think he came out when he was 20, or hell, he might have been 19 if I remember correctly. Dante Moore's only 19. My point in saying this is sometimes it's good to stay in college a little longer and put a little more, learning underneath your belt, and then move into the NFL, right? So especially with the NIL money that people are getting now as well too. Good example would be Beck with Miami, right? He had an opportunity to go pro, but he would have been a 5th or 6th round pick. But now he's probably going to be higher, and he got a bunch of money going to Miami, and he looks great because he's in the playoffs, right? So I'm just saying that sometimes it's Trey Lance is kind of a victim of kind of his own. Maybe he had an agent that said, "Hey, man, it's time for you to come out now," and like, he went to a good spot and just didn't work out. So,
yep.
A lot to say about that.
Yep. I would also even say too, go back to preseason 2. We had actually 4 quarterbacks on the team. Remember, we signed Taylor Heineke to a $6.2 million contract, and we terminated him too. And so basically,
oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. I forgot about that.
Trey Lance basically did win the job at that point, and at the same side now, Trey Lance is kind of out there doing his thing. But yeah, if you do look at Trey Lance and like what he did in North Dakota State, he was a 17-0 record, 41 total touchdowns, looked like an absolute stud, FCS championship in 2019. And then, high pick that the Niners ended up trading up for him. And then they eventually ended up trading him to the Cowboys. Didn't really have a whole heck of a lot going on into the NFL. So this was kind of crazy to see what he's done and how fast he's got elevated. I'm a big fan. If I'm a GM, I'm making sure I'm getting a quarterback out of college that's played a good amount of games. I'm not going to put a high pick on a guy that's only played 17 games. Yeah, 17-0, North Dakota State. That's not really going to be one that I'm going to throw a whole heck of a lot at them. I want you to have experience before you go into the NFL. The leap from college to basically NFL is tremendous. So
100%.
Crazy thing. But, you would just hope to say, hey, Trey Lance, if he does come back next season and everything too, Jim Harbaugh's got his hands on him again for another year, maybe gets him right, maybe gets him into the right position for him for down the road. So we'll see. We'll see where it leads. But just to move on a little bit more, just got to give a shout out. And I know we've talked about it, defense. And it was just a great showing by our backups for defense. We did not allow any touchdowns on defense. We allowed 16 points, basically field goals. That's all it was. It was less than that. It was 4 field goals that we gave up, and
4 field goals,
one touchdown, which was a turnover pick 6, basically by Trey Lance on a high pass.
Yep.
Defense did their job. Defense definitely did their job, and that's a great showing. You got to love that quote that also Khalil Mack is saying, "Hey, look, I'm inspired by that play, so we need to basically show that the next game out there too." I would love it if we just go out there and we just absolutely just mollywop the Patriots. Our defense just ripping and roaring and doing things like just looking lights out too. So love to be able to see that. Also, hot off the press, guys, Falcons fire head coach Raheem Morris after 2 seasons.
Wow.
Just came in. Did. They are already firing head coaches, guys. It's crazy to see. And I'll say this thing too, and I'm just going to pull this off the screen here too. That division is absolute trash. I mean, you have 3 teams that are basically 8 and 9 to basically get the division at this point. That is terrible. And for the Falcons wise, man, they got talent on that team. They just can't put it together, man. And, after basically 2 seasons, man, letting go Raheem Morris, crazy. He's going to find a defensive coordinator job somewhere.
Hey, come to the Chargers, man.
I mean, that's the other side too. That my thoughts, because I know Jesse Minter's been talked a little bit about head coaching interviews coming up. I think the Giants is one that has been kind of thrown out there for him too. I don't know if that's the right move for them, but they got a lot of good pieces on that defense.
Let's think about this too. The Chargers. I can't remember who would be the Chargers backup on the squad that could step in as a coach for the defense if he were to leave.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know if it'd probably be our cornerback.
It could be. Oh yeah, that would be. Oh my gosh, Kingsbury.
Yeah, Kingsbury.
Yep.
I'd probably say if you want to put it as an internal hire, that would probably be the best bet.
Oh, Clingsdale. Sorry, Clingsdale.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or Mike Elston, maybe the defensive line coach.
Possibly.
Yeah. And then, or the defensive is, or maybe, Rick Minter's, Rick would probably go with Jesse, but anyways, I'm curious. I'm always kind of curious because here's the thing. The one thing I would say I do like about Jim Harbaugh too, we have one of the biggest coaching staffs in the NFL. You guys know that, right? We have a lot of analysts. These guys are getting paid pretty big money. And I think part of the reason that is that they want those people to also potentially step in if we were to, let Jesse Minter walk, or obviously if he does get a head coaching role somewhere else. So I just think there's a lot to be said about that. But Yeah, I think it's interesting. This could be good too. And I think you might be right. Might be a hot take, but I don't think Major takes his job until 2027. I think if he gets a job at like the Giants or maybe, man, see, I don't even know about the Giants. So the Giants are just kind of a bad organization. You know, they haven't fired Pete Carroll from what I'm seeing now so far. I hope they don't fire him personally, but so I'm curious to see what coaching jobs are available. I wouldn't want to go to the Falcons. That probably wouldn't be the job I would want to go to as well too. So anyways, I'm interesting to see how that goes.
Yep. You know, it'd be interesting to think, just throwing it out there. You got with that whole hiring when they ended up going after Raheem Morris. Remember who they were also interviewing there, who was in the building for 2 days, was our guy, legendary head coach for the Patriots, who is now the UNC head coach. There's been some talks about him walking away from UNC and trying to find his way back to the NFL. So if you end up going and get, I always want to say Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
Possibly. What if they end up saying, hey, man, you want the job, dude? You're back with the Falcons. You got to understand that division. That division's not good. Like you could basically potentially win 8 games and find a way to win the division. Like that's not a good division, period. I will say Kellen Moore did a very good job in the last little stretch of the game or the year with Tyler Show too, to basically see what he's been able to do. So there is potential, some momentum in that side of things, but that is not a good division, but it is a great division for somebody to go out there and dominate too. So
yeah, for sure. So interesting conversation. I always think it's interesting having that discussion. Who knows? We'll see. And then he says Belichick is washed and his coaching is outdated. You know, he's dating a 24-year-old, which is like, what the hell is that all about? You know?
Staying young, my guy. Like, staying young.
Come on now, dude. Like, it's crazy. So anyways,
but I know we talked a little bit about separate thing and everything too, but just wanted to make sure you get the NFL news going on there too and keep everybody updated too. But shout out to, just want to say Keenan Allen. Hey, coaching staff made sure he got his money and got his bag. And that's a beautiful thing to see. Beautiful thing that he was able to get that. He had 13 different targets there too. Found a way to get 7 catches. Got the yard side of things too. The guy basically is a stud and guy deserved it. And you got to love that a head coach wants to make sure their guys are getting paid. And Keenan Allen, obviously an absolute legend, Hall of Famer type wide receiver too. Obviously a Charger Hall of Famer, 100% to retire the guy's number, man. But you got to love what Keenan Allen has brought to this team. And I'd love to see him back here next year too.
I would too. I mean, the nice thing is if we can bring back this exact same wide receiver group that we have now, we won't have to go pay a ton of money to go get a wide receiver. I think we'll be completely fine. I mean, you can, I guess, if you really wanted to, or you maybe get another veteran or something, but, you know, or maybe draft somebody, but you can focus on that offensive line and be fine, right? I really like our wide receiver core group, as long as they stay healthy, for sure. You know, I like KLS. I think in a weird way, I almost feel like we have too many targets now, right? Remember last year, Ladd McConkey was the guy. Everything was drawn up for Ladd McConkey. I kind of feel like there's a lot of mouths to feed on the offensive line or the offensive ball side of the ball for the wide receivers. And let's not forget, guys, you got to run to Gatson, who pretty much is a wide receiver, right? But he's, you know, very good. So anyways, it's just, it's exciting to see. You know, again, Delvion Campbell's another good guy too. Darius Davis is actually good when he's out there, but you know, he can't find time on the field because, you know, he's been banged up and, you know, we got a lot of wide receivers. So anyways, I just find that interesting.
So, I mean, we got a good core here. And once again, a lot of that's been through draft. I mean, I love the way KLS plays. Trey Harris has done too. Obviously QJ has done a great job as a wide receiver too. Ladd McConkey last season too. So we got a good core there, a very, very good core. I know some people talked a little bit about going out and getting Justin Jefferson. Like, what if you end up going out there? We got the money to do it. I just don't think we got the room to do it, kind of thing. So I just don't think it's one of those things that we necessarily need to have, but it sure would be pretty fun to have him with Justin Herbert for sure. My gosh.
Dude, he'd be amazing. He'd be amazing. If Aether shows up, do we want to do that bet again next year? You know, that we're gonna pick up Justin Jefferson.
We won that last bet, right? You know, and you never know. But I am searching around on the internet just to find what time slot is potential for the Chargers. There is a lot of conversation and chatter that will be the Sunday night slotted game. So the late game on Sunday night is kind of what they're saying. Obviously, we will keep you updated when we get the official too, but they're saying it's a Chargers Patriots game will end up scheduled seems highly likely will get scheduled for the featured Sunday night football slot at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So
okay.
I don't mind that. I don't mind the later slot for this team. I think it's a good thing for us to have something like that later in the playoffs. I mean, last year we were the first slotted playoff game on Saturday. I like to be able to see that we have a full, basically, week off, let our guys get right, get them ready for the East Coast time change and everything too. I'm all good for that. So I think it's a good slot for the Chargers if that's going to be the case. But we'll keep you updated when we do hear that too. Just to talk a little bit about the Patriots game. I know it's very early to talk about it, but I love talking about kind of projected situations and where we could win. Well, we all know. I mean, we've talked about it at a nauseum level. We are one of the worst offensive lines in the league, 32nd, right? Well, they are actually the 25th in the league in getting sacks for their defensive line. They are not a high sack defensive line. They do not produce a lot of sacks. So they only have had 31 sacks this season. Chargers have had basically 41. I think it might not even be updated up to today's stats too. There is a big positive for that. If they're not going to put a lot of pressure on us, even with our terrible O-line, let's just say we go jumbo package and just make sure they cannot find a way to get around Justin Herbert. We're going to cook. We will cook this on them for sure. I would also say too, they have not been that good against the run too. So there's that idea that if we play bully ball, it might fit perfectly into our philosophy with this team too. So
yeah. Yep. Yeah. And again, I think that's really where it be careful what you wish for. Sometimes, let's just beat these fools. And look, they have a good team. I mean, they've proven they can win games. Having said that, they haven't proven that they can win against really good defenses also as well too. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, moving on, guys, it is tough games from now until the Super Bowl, right? And that's even going to be the hardest game because it's a very long season. So we'll see how it plays out. Like I said, I truly believe the Chargers have all the talent in the world to be there and make it happen. They just got to go execute, folks. That's all they got to go do. They got to go execute.
Agreed.
So if they can make that happen, going to be in good shape.
I agree. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. Last time that we did play New England was last season. We beat them 40-7. And now that's obviously totally different regime, but we still beat them 40-7, which is awesome to see. So we'll see what happens here. Once again, I think the Broncos are frauds. We'll find out if the New England Patriots are frauds.
Yeah, and Rich has showed up, right? Did you hear that?
Yeah, just to hear that. Rich Broncos are frauds.
Canada. Yep. He's from Canada. So, just we got to enunciate for him, So.
But I mean, we'll see about the Patriots. I mean, they have not gone up against a top 10 defense. And that's a big thing about us, that we are an absolute stellar defense. And when we're going to have all of our starters back out there, you hope they're going to be ripping and roaring. Our backups looked great against the Broncos and made their offense look bad. Didn't score a touchdown on us by any means. We still got 4 sacks on one of the best offensive lines in the league with our backups. So ultimately, I think that we got a really good matchup with the Patriots. So a third time's a charm, guys. Let's hope this is going to be the one where Justin Herbert gets over the hump and people start taking him a little bit more seriously around the NFL.
Yeah. I mean, my final thoughts is it was an interesting game. I just wanted to see Trey Lance do a little bit better. It was a little annoying. Like, man, I was shocked at how, I mean, those stats, against PFF, say what you want to say about PFF, but my point is they looked pretty good against Denver's defensive line. So, I just wish our starters could play that good, which is interesting that they haven't up to this point, which is even more embarrassing. But my point is, it's exciting to see at least the backups play as well as they did. My thought is, I'm excited to see what happens. I think this team matches up well. A healthy Herbert is a happy Herbert. 2 more weeks with his hand resting, I think he'll be in fine shape. Yep. I also think we were more aggressive. We played more aggressively on defense in this game. We actually blitzed a little bit, which I thought was interesting because up to this, I think about a couple weeks ago, we were the least blitzing team in the NFL. We did not blitz hardly ever. Jesse Minter was a 4-man rush, 4-man rush, 3-man rush, 4-man rush, 3-man rush. That's it. So it'll be interesting to see if we continue up with that blitz, package moving forward. I think he's a little more comfortable with it. I think he likes some of the rotations that he's coming up with. So we'll see how that plays out. I like that a little more on defense because I think that's where you can also get some picks quick. So I'm curious to see how that plays out. And we'll see how it plays out, man. I guess it's gonna be exciting. Obviously, Patriots. It's gonna be. I don't know if it's gonna be a cold one. Have you looked at the weather at this point?
Yeah, I don't think it was going to be anything super crazy. I know it depends on which day and everything too. But if you look at Foxborough weather, let's look at this. So if we look at, say, Sunday, it's going to be 43 degrees. Saturday, going to be maybe a little bit of rain, 51. So it actually bodes well for us. It's not going to be crazy. So I'm ready to book my flight and make that happen. So let's go.
Let's go to the East Coast, baby. Let's do this.
Let's get it.
Both bros in New England. Let's do this.
Let's go.
It's a good little short film we'll do real quick. It'd be awesome.
That would be so sick.
No, it'll be exciting. So we'll see how it plays out. So guys, it's exciting. Look, this is what we want. All you want is a ticket to the dance. That's all you want. And it's go time now. There's other teams in the NFL that are just going to be sitting at home going, wow, wish we were a better team. Luckily, we're there, guys. Regardless of whatever happens, we have an opportunity to control our own destiny. This is the next biggest game because it's the next game, and it's going to be the next game and the next game and then the next game. So hopefully we just show people what we can do. I'm excited to see what happens. Herbert's a stud, dude. Man, we'll see how it plays out. I'm excited.
I think it's a really good matchup. As my final thoughts, I'm glad that this game's over with. I didn't really put too much on this other than just, hey, let's see what the Broncos could do with our backups. And our backups played very valiantly. Like, I really enjoyed watching them out there. I enjoyed to see some of these players that potentially could come back next year and make an impact for this team too. Marlo Wax was one of the guys that I think played really, really well within this game. He seized an opportunity and did great that way. Andre James is one that's going to be a question on a lot of Chargers fans for sure. And it's been a question mark for the entire season for this team, and he actually played very well based upon some of the metrics that we talked about earlier in the show. So onward to the Patriots. There's a lot to enjoy about this game coming up. I'm excited basically to be back in the playoffs. Going to be on the road to New England and Foxborough. Let's go ahead and get this thing rolling, guys. But third time's a charm for Justin Herbert. I think this could be a very, very good matchup. Maybe we should just also, put our expectations down a little bit, because I think the last two times that we've been to the playoffs, we've been like, oh yeah, we're going to go run these guys over or whatnot. I don't think we should do that this time. So I think we should basically hold back our expectations, but I think it's a very good matchup for sure. And if it is the Sunday night matchup, I think it's a great time slot for this team too.
Justin Herbert is a golden god. All right, guys. All right, guys. We're the Bolt Bros. We'll see you guys in the next one.
All right. Bolt Bros. Let's go.
Hey, what's up? Cameron Dick here watching Bolt Bros podcast.